Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance. On this episode, I, Leah, am joined by Jenni. Hi, Jenni.
Hi, Leah.
And we are reviewing Cock Down the Block by Amy. I don't
Award.
the word. Amy Award. Yes. I had her other name stuck in my head and I was like, that's not right. But yes, Amy Award. If we will link the synopsis of the book in our on the shelf show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com, so you can check it out there. So this book released September 28th, 2023. The tropes are friends to lovers, fake relationship. It is a rom-com. There are floofs in charge, which are one of my favorite things about this book. There's a nerdy heroine. It is a football romance. There's a pining hero. Oh, excuse me, virgin heroine. She's a real-bodied heroine, and it is a slow burn. So this is book one of the Cocky Kingsman series. Since it's book one, we don't know what type of series it is yet. The Wiener Across the Way, which I love these freaking titles, releases December 28th. So when that comes out, we'll know. I'm assuming the way that the book was written, it's going to be pretty standalone. But
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably like the brother story because all we got is like a football player and pop star. So,
yeah, but I bet it's the one who like he was joking about having like the weekly condom order.
oh, you think it's him? I think it's the grumpy guy.
You think it's the grumpy one? I totally think
Yeah,
it's the like one that has all the sex.
yeah, well,
I don't
we
know. I
shall
guess we'll
see.
find out. It is told in dual first person point of view, and the put out percentage is 77%. And as of this time, there is no audio book, but you never know, that could change. So let's talk the cock down the block. Honestly, there's an author note at the beginning of this book, and she says like this book is fluff. Like I wrote it to be fluff, I wrote it to be funny, I wrote it to be this and this and this. And honestly, it is a fluff book, and it's funny and it really takes you out of your element, but it's not so over the top that you're like, wow, this is really ridiculous.
Well, I looked at some of like the other reviews on Goodreads when I was like reviewing this.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do feel that it's like over the top. So like if you can't like take some middle school humor, maybe not the book for you. But yeah, it's just fun. It's not meant to be like serious.
No, it's not. And honestly, I mean, it opens up with her chasing her rooster, Luke Skycocker, across the
Right.
road. So right there, I mean, she's already won me on the Star Wars like cock names. And so like all of her chickens have Star Wars names. And so it's like when you open a book with Luke Skycocker and she's chasing it and like it's the cock across the
Right.
road.
Yeah, because she's about to like the cock is about to get run over by like the little old lady down the road. Like
Who's like who's like roaring down the street. I mean, when your book opens like that, you know there's gonna be
yeah,
chaos. But I
yes.
do love like the hen names.
Yes, like Kylo Hen.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Wait, what was now I have to
Oh,
look them up.
yeah, it's like Chew Bok Bok Bok.
Bok Bok, I think so. But there was
Yes.
four of them. I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna bug
Okay.
me.
Um, so yes, the main character is Beatrix or Trixie is how she like seems to be what she goes by now. In high school, she went by B,
Hmm.
which comes into play later on.
Yeah.
Um, she's a librarian and she is the neighbor to Chris Kingsman, who is the oldest of seven,
Nine.
nine.
Nine. I think there's nine.
Okay, and they're all boys except for the
The
youngest,
baby.
right?
She's a girl. Yeah. And she's like
Okay.
17 or 18. Like she's still in high school.
Yes.
And I have the
Right.
names. We have Princess Leia, Laya, Chewbacca Bok, and Kylo Head. I
Okay.
mean, seriously, people, you know it's going to be fluff when
Right.
that's like one of the main stars of the book. But yeah, I believe there's nine siblings, eight boys, one girl, and they've been raised by a single dad because their mother, who is a plus size model, passed away when they were younger.
And they all the boys are football players.
Hmm. Yeah, so there's a decent gap. So Chris and two of his siblings play for the Kingsmen, and his dad he's a football coach, but I don't think for the Kingsmen, it's for like
Right.
the college team or the high
Correct.
school
The
team,
college team.
but they're very football focused.
Yes. Which again, like this like brings in like the ridiculousness, right? Like not your whole family's not going to play for the same team. Like, yeah,
I mean,
it's
it happens, but it's rare.
like not not more than two.
No, usually not more than two. But it's one of those things where like some of like the ridiculous elements come to play. But like so the family themselves of the Kingsmen, like they're very close knit. Like they all live in this like community, which we find out that Chris actually owns like the whole neighborhood and he rents the houses like to his family
Right.
because he wanted his privacy. So like Trixie owns a house or like rents one of the houses, but she doesn't realize that he's her landlord until later in the book. And so Chris has had a crush on Trixie since high school. And he asked her
I
out.
think he says since he was 12.
Well, since because they've been friends for a really long time and they lost
Right.
touch like after high school. But dude asked her out and she shot him down because she thought he was joking.
She was in a bad space like at the time.
She was, yes.
Yeah.
Which
Um
it happens, but seriously, shot him down. And he like he got a little heartbroken.
he did. He did. And
But so they're
well,
no, go ahead.
okay. So like since she came back from library school, I and he conveniently let her rent her neighbor like her childhood home.
Mhm.
They've been friends for the past few years, like best friends.
Yes, they
Um
reconnected. Not in the way that he wants, because dude pines.
right, like yeah. He has not made his move yet.
No, he hasn't. And it's one of those things where like, why? Why have you not made a
Right?
move?
Like what are you waiting for?
But honestly, like Trixie is oblivious.
She
Like
is.
she's but I think part of it is so like as you learn their story, like so her mom was a porn star, like but and has been very like sex positive, very like open about everything. Like she sends her like vibrators and dildos and all sorts of stuff all the time. And so she has boxes of them, which they come into play eventually in the
They
story.
do.
But her mom was so this direction that she like jumped the line and ran as far in the other way as she could, which you can understand in some ways, but it's like, girl, come out of
Right.
your shell just a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely like her mom's previous career has like both positive and negative effects on the way like Trixie views herself in her past relationships. Like, ugh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, and she's had relationships. It's not like she's been this like celibate nincompoop who doesn't date. She just has been a celibate picky person who does
Yeah.
date,
And
which,
then yeah, when it gets serious, like other things come into play that I don't want to like spoil, but
yeah,
yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
yeah, it's
Not on
and
her
there's
part.
no, not on her part. There's some things that go down. But I will say, like, I love the fact that so she's a real-bodied heroine, but she's very confident, like, with her body. Like, she dresses how she dresses. She has no qualms about being who she is. And I think that's a really great way to be portrayed because there are a lot of real-bodied people who are very comfortable in their skin. They're comfortable with dressing their bodies the way that they do. And I thought that was a really great dynamic that the author created with Trixie's story.
I agree. Yes. And it's not like overly done. I don't think like
Mm-mm.
you're very aware that like she's not super skinny or like runway model, but yeah, it's just who she is.
Well, and I like the fact that at one point Chris talks about like how his mother was a plus size model. So like she was not this supermodel married to like this tiny skinny supermodel married to this like football star. Like she was a woman with curves, and he appreciated the fact that like he had this woman even for a little bit of his life, like because she, like I said, she had passed away when they were younger. Bit, I think he was a teenager when it happened.
Yeah, I
So he
I
had
think
enough like around her that she really like modeled like the strength of body positivity in like for her kids, which yes, they were boys, but at that same time, like if they see that, then they'll recognize it in other people, which I thought was really good.
yes.
So the whole fake relationship thing comes around because her best friend Lulu, who I love, has voluntold her that she has to help with their 10-year high school reunion. And there is a group of mean girls that still live in the area who are the worst.
They are. But at the same time, like we all know somebody like this, right? Like,
Oh,
yeah,
1000%. And like,
yeah.
I mean, who didn't go to school with somebody like that? Like, there's always that group of people who think they're like better than everybody else and put people down. It's like, I know that you are doing this because you are a small
Yeah,
person and
right.
things are
You're not
wrong.
happy with your life, so you're gonna make
Yes.
everyone unhappy. Yes.
Yes, but there is a moment like in the book where the head mean girl, like Trixie lays into her and her little minions are like, hmm, there's some clarity there,
Yes.
which is nice, but it's like it's a little too late there,
Yeah,
friend.
well, like 10 years too late. But
Oh
yeah.
yeah. But it's one of those things. So the fake relationship, like it all happens because like Trixie's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend Chris Kingsman, and they're like, that's not true. And she asked him for this, and he's like, yes, this is my way in. It
Right.
is my way in. And so there's this scene at his dad's house. So she goes to game night because it's something that they do. Like they get together a lot, and they're talking on the back porch, and she leaves, and like all of his family comes out because they've been eavesdropping, and they're all like, finally you were going after this. And he was like, what does dad think? And they're like, who do you think told us to eavesdrop on you? Because you're an idiot and he thinks you should have done this years ago.
Right. Like
I
that,
just
yeah,
love
the
that.
whole family knows. Like, yeah.
Oh man, the whole family. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, why have you not like, and he's like, well, I asked her out and she turned me down. And they're like, it was 10 years ago, dude. 10 years ago.
Yes. And yeah, because even then he's kind of like still hesitant. But they move from the like fake relationship to the real relationship pretty quickly.
Yeah, there really wasn't any fake. It was like fake adjacent. Like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
fake is what got them the date in the first place. But like once they were at the reunion, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it just moves pretty quickly from there.
it does.
Well, I did forget
And
to say there is no third act breakup in this book, but there is definitely events that
there
occur.
are. And the way the events like are resolved are like a little different than like they normally are.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
was kind of surprised by that. But again, it's a fluff book. So
right, right. Again, like the realism of that, like actually happening that way and being taken seriously, probably slim to none. But it's fun.
it is fun. I mean, Luke Skywalker
Which Luke Skywalker is very like he's very
possessive.
possessive. Yes, for a rooster. And he
There's
gets really upset about like Chris
one
coming in.
like he chases him and like pecks him, but at one point Chris is like, I'm gonna have a conversation with him cock to cock. I laughed. I like honestly, like when I read this book, it was something that I needed. Like there was a lot of
Right.
heavy, and I'm like, it was like the perfect fluffy book, but like cock to cock part, I died. Like I was laughing so hard. But there's just like there's some ridiculous moments, but it's like it's one of those things where it is rom-com and it's in its finest form.
Right. Like it reminds me of like ridiculous sitcoms or movies
Yes,
that
yes.
like you just
Oh my
watch for
gosh.
like
Could you imagine this in sitcom form?
yes, it would be
Like they're
great.
chasing a rooster across the street. Oh my God, I would love that. That'd be so good. But it just is so much. And like there is like an evil guy she works with who he gets his due,
Oh
don't you worry.
yes. Yeah, I forgot about him. He's part of the weird stuff that's
He is, because there's some
yeah,
stuff that happens for the mean people. But I like the dynamic, and I like the fact that Trixie has a relationship with Jules, who is the baby sister of the
right.
Kingsmen. Like I like that relationship, and honestly, she's like, "You guys are idiots. Like you should be together." Like, and she like
Yeah,
makes little comments here and there. It's like they're both oblivious. Well, Trixie's oblivious. Chris is not so much, but he's like, "Yeah, that's not happening because it's Trixie."
right. She's even though she's the youngest, she's definitely taken the role of like woman of the house and
Mhm.
puts everybody in line.
Well, and there's one point like she swears or she says something, and the brothers are like, "Hey," and she's like, "What do you expect? I had 9 men raise me."
Right.
And they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's true.
I
Good
can't
point."
yeah, good for her.
It was good for her. But this book is one of those feel good books. Like if you need to get out of your head and you don't want something serious and you just want something that it's going to make you laugh and it's just going to bring some happy. This is the best book for you.
I agree. Yes.
Okay. Do you have a book you think we should review for a quick shot of romance? If you do, send us an email at thebees@bookcaseandcoffee.com. Thank you, Jenni, for joining me on this quick shot of romance.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at buzzingaboutromance or on Twitter at buzzingromance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.